I think it was great for our guys to get back out there. It's been a long time between our last game. I want to say around 8 days. And I thought it was really good for our guys to play against a team like Towson. Pat does a great job with his group. They've had a lot of success over the years under his tutelage. And I thought our guys really responded well. I thought we came out the first half. It may have been the most complete first half we've had this year. And that's something that we need to be able to see so we can build on it. So it's good to see how our guys responded with the time off and playing against a very good basketball team.
You said that might be the best first half you've had. The guys kind of alluded to the time off. I don't know. They kind of laughed when they were asked about it. Was it a tough period of time? He said the practices are tougher than games.
They may talk too much. Well, we really, wanted to use this opportunity, of course, academically to make sure, and even with the next break, to make sure that we, keep the same standards we have on the court, which means we want to do well in everything that we do. But it afforded us some time, of course, to work on some things and clean up some things that we knew we had to get better at. And having some of those days of practice was good for us because we had to grow in some areas. Guys are still trying to learn our system. You have guys, like I said, who played 3-4 different coaches, all good styles, but they're adjusting now to a new one, terminologies, what we want to do defensively, what we're running offensively, and that takes time. And so I think having that little break and being able to kind of really focus on a few things that we thought we had to work on, I thought, showed that I thought we benefited from some of that today.
How have you seen Themis settle into his role?
He's getting better, and he's starting to understand what we want. He's our leader. I mean, he has the ball in his hands. He's a captain, and so he's someone that we count on to run our team. And I think he did a great job, and he's been getting better. From game one to where we are now, I can see the improvement in what he does. He picks his spot. Tonight was a night where he has 15 points in the first half because that was needed from him. Second half, he had 5 because, guys had got it going around him, and he was facilitating as they started to help on him more and found other players. And so he's really starting to understand, what we want and what I want at the position. And I want him, if he can score 20 in a game, that's fine. But if that means you score 5 in the game, that's fine too. The main thing is that you're judged by one thing at the point guard spot, the same thing I'm judged by. You're judged on winning. That's what points are judged by, point guards and coaches are judged on. So with that, I always wanted him to keep that in mind about what do I do to help my team win? How can I help us be successful? Some nights it means more scoring, some nights it means more assists. And he has to understand when to do those and when not to. And I think he's been learning that over the course of the time with us.
What kind of leader is he?
He's a good leader. He's a good leader for us. And he's learning to be the leader that we want. Because, again, he's had 3 or 4 different coaches, and now I'm requiring him to do maybe some things that some other coaches haven't required. But he has all the attributes because he has a really good feel for the game. He has a good understanding. He watches a ton of tape. He always wants to learn and get better. And the young man could be a coach at the end of the day. It's just a function of him just continuing to grow and develop in his career. But he has that type of mind, and it's just getting him to understand what we want because just think, I may yell a terminology out, but last year's coach, that was called something different. The year before that, coach called it something else. And so he's having to, process and pick those things up. And that takes a little time. But I tell you, he's getting better because he cares. He gets better every practice and every game because he cares about wanting to pick it up and wanting to do the best he can for our team.
Coach, after a solid defensive first half, Towson was kind of getting out there even with you offensively in the second half, but you had managed to lock him down as kind of it went on. Just how was the second half evolving defensively?
Well, that's when I mentioned earlier. I thought we had a really good 20 minutes. Our standards are never going to change. I didn't think the second half, our defensive intensity was at the level I wanted it to be. I thought we still did a solid job, but I thought we could have been better. And give them credit. Like I said, I always look at the other team. They're very good at what they do. I've watched them enough, and I've watched Pat coach. I mean, they're very, very good. They have a lot of talent, and so they made some adjustments at halftime too. And so I thought our guys, started to really kind of understand what we had to do after about the first media time. I think it went all the way down to the 12th, the first media timeout. Everybody's tongue was hanging out from both teams, but I thought our guys did a really good job of responding at that point.
You talk about watching Towson a lot. When watching the game film, what was something that you made the team focus on?
Just how well they were playing, against their opponents this season. Just how big and physical they were. Quite frankly, I thought they had Big 12 bodies. I thought those guys were literally, I felt in a lot of respects bigger than we were. And I thought we have a pretty long team. So those are things that I was looking at and showing our guys when we were watching tape. And like I said, our guys, they were always respect our opponents anyway. I think showing them and how physical they were, how physical they are on defense, how physical they are on the boards. I think our guys really saw like, hey, we're going to have to make sure we're really focused for every possession.
Talk about the development of John and Jeremy as the season's gone on, because they obviously give you that size when you play them inside, but you could also go small. Like, you've got a lot of versatility from a lineup standpoint.
No, absolutely. That's kind of how we built our roster out, and I thought that both John and Jeremy and Elijah as well. I mean, he doesn't play as much, but I think all three of those guys have been getting better. I think having to gain his experience, getting these minutes in the preseason has been very good for them. We thought it would be because we felt they all had a lot of talent. It was just a function of getting them out there, getting them comfortable. They have to learn from some of their mistakes out there because the game is different from practice. And I think both John and Jeremy last year mostly were just in practice. So this is huge for these guys, and I think you can see them getting better. You can see them improving, game by game. And they're still, both of them are still nowhere near where I think they can be for us. It's just a function of just getting out there, gaining some confidence, understanding what we want from them, and they'll continue to improve.
Coach, you guys were able to get to the line pretty frequently this game. Just how pleased were you with the team's level of physicality?
And, I was happy with our physicality, especially in the first half. I thought the second half, we weren't as, physical. And like I said, they probably had a lot to do with that on their end. But overall, I was happy with that. That's something that we want to bring out. We want our identity to be on the defensive end. And toughness and physicality is part of how you have to defend. And I thought our guys did bring some of that, throughout the game.
Coach, on the topic of defense, it seems like a common theme tonight, especially with the players that came in previously and everything that you're saying as well. What was the defensive strategy going into tonight's game, and does it change from game to game?
No, absolutely. We have our system, our foundation pretty much stays the same, but then you have to make adjustments based on personnel. And they had some personnel that we had to adjust to. Williamson being one of the guards, that's tough guard. I'll say Taja, another guard, a wing player that's big and is versatile. And Dumba, I mean, those guys are all guys that are very, very talented and can make a lot of plays. They make a lot of winning basketball plays. So, of course, we had to, adjust to what they do and maybe tweak a few things there, defensively to try to slow them down. You're not going to ever stop those players. They all are really talented. But you just want to try to slow them down some. And I thought our guys did a good job of following the game plan.
Coach, you mentioned how you guys had 8 days off before you played today, and then now you have another 10 days off before you play again. Could you kind of speak to the advantages and disadvantages of having that much time in between games?
Well, I'm sure, our guys would like to continue to keep playing, consistent, a couple times a week like most of the country. But as we mentioned before with the, academic requirements and our standards, then that takes the priority like it did this past week, making sure guys finish up strong academically. We have tests, papers, finals, everything is coming and has been. So that's the main thing we want to try to, take advantage of. And we'll have some practices in there. And when we have those practices, we'll try to use those to continue to get better. And that's kind of what we're going to do up until we play our next opponent.
What particular things do you want to see your team get better at in this time?
We got to be better than 20 minutes of defense. I think we got to look at how we can get up that to 40 minutes of how we want to defend. I think that's a very important part of what we want to do. I think our guys are starting to get a better feel for each other offensively. I thought they're sharing the ball pretty well, but we still can execute our sets better as well. I think there's some we've been a little too loose in a couple of those things. We need to focus there a little bit more. So there are areas that we can definitely continue to improve, and that we'll look at when we watch this film tonight, and start working on those things this week.
Coach, has been a great start for the Big 12 as a conference. Iowa State just throttled #1 Purdue yesterday. There's a lot of great wins. UCF's obviously doing their part too with some solid wins. Just kind of, I know you're fixated on your own team day to day, but just some early thoughts on how competitive this Big 12 is going to be.
Well, I thought it was going to be a great conference, and it has been. I mean, and I haven't really followed these other opponents because I'm always locked in on who we're playing. But you have some great coaches. You have a lot of great talent, and so I think I'm really proud of our conference and the work that they're putting in. This preseason. But like I said, and watching these coaches, I've seen them at different at Big 12 Media Day and during the summer for meetings, and yeah, I think they do a great job, and I think it's a reflection of what they do day to day with their teams.
Your
Couple
team
more.
is 19 of 21 from the free throw line. How do you approach in practice free throw shooting? How much time is set aside for it?
We it's hard to say the amount of time, but we're shooting free throws every day. We shoot them every day. Some days will be more than others, but we shoot free throws every day. There are certain segments of practice where we're going to have opportunities for everyone to step up and take free throws. And I try to have our guys take them serious when they do it, because they're a big part of the game, as you know. A lot of people look at the three-point shot or dunks or finishes around the basket. Free throws are equally important. You got to step up when it's your turn and be confident enough to knock them down. And so we're constantly working on those with our guys. And fortunately, like I said, we have buy-in. These guys, they want to get better.
Do you simulate crowd noise, especially when it's you're going to go on the road? Do you do something different?
I have done that. I have not done that this year as of yet, but yeah, absolutely. We do, we do things where we put, turn the loudspeakers on the arena and have it, the crowd noise and everything. So that's stuff we do. And we will do again. It's just a matter of, when that opponent that we're going to play that we may decide to do it, but absolutely.
Coach, you had Riley scored double digits there through the first seven today, back-to-back single-digit performances, but everyone else has also been stepping up on offense too. So what's it been like kind of with Riley through these past couple of games, and the other side of it with everyone else at night?
Well, we know Riley's a really good talent. We know he's a capable scorer. So the main thing I want to see Riley do, and I thought he did a great job of it tonight. It may not show in the box score, but yeah, I think 2 block shots. He defended, one of their best players. I mean, that takes a lot of effort to defend one of the best players like Williamson and trying to, contain him, because, he can really go off, and I've seen him go off enough on tape. And I thought he really was focused and locked in defensively. I thought he made some plays for us, got his hands on a lot of balls. And so I look at that side of it. I know the offense comes and goes with, with most players. What needs to be the constant for us is how you guard. And I thought he did a great job of that tonight, and I want him to build on that. And I'm not worried. His offense is going to be there because he's too talented.
Last question.
Coach, 8-1 start for you. I believe it's your best in your tenure here at UCF. Is there something different about this year's squad that you might feel?
We have coached some really good teams, and this team is, still working on becoming one of those type of teams. The good thing is that they work very hard. They come to compete every day in practice and in the games, and it's just us. It's up to us as the staff to continue to help them understand, where we have to go to be successful. But the main thing we're doing is getting in every day, and we work, we grind. We get in every day in practice. We put our hard hats on, and we get after it. And they've been responding. They've been responding, and that's what you want to see happen.
Apparently that practice is harder than the games.
I don't know which one of the players said that, but I need to talk to my team tomorrow.